Welcome to First Time Watching. Now that they've finally got proof of what is happening at the end of episode 3, it's time to dive into the recap of the 4th episode of HBO's new hit horror series, It. Welcome to Derry. The kids bike straight to the police station and drop the pictures on the police chief's desk. They try to tell him what really happened, but he's skeptical. He looks at the pictures, but they aren't the same ones they took. They've changed. So the chief warns them that this is the last time they waste his time, or they'll really regret it. At school, the kids speculate about what exactly this clown monster might be. Lily might know someone who would believe their story and could help them, so she contacts the orderly at Juniper Hill. The orderly does remember kids disappearing in town, but never anything like what Lily thinks she's seeing. Still, she tells her not to give up. Someone knocks at Charlotte's door. It's Rose. She's dropping off the things she bought. Charlotte invites her in for a cup of coffee, but Rose uses the opportunity to dig for information about what the military might be doing. Unfortunately for her, Charlotte knows next to nothing about her husband's job. Charlotte asks Rose about the missing kids at the theater and whether she should be worried about her son. Rose tells her the truth. Derry is a beautiful place, but things do happen there. It's never a bad idea to keep your loved ones close. Halloran and his buddies drive across army territory toward their new clubhouse. It's a little present from the colonel for a job well done. A big heap of trash with potential, but suddenly Halloran feels something unsettling. He gets home and runs up to his room to look for his pictures, but he can't find them. His mom has them, and she wants to know what the hell is going on. So he tells her the whole story. She doesn't really understand what happened, but she grounds him anyway. She wants to keep him safe and doesn't want his father finding out he got himself into something dangerous. That night, at dinner, Will finds it very hard to lie to his father. His mom twists the truth for him, telling his dad that there's a girl he likes. Charlotte tells her husband that he should spend some time with Will over the weekend. The boy needs some father-son time. So that weekend, he takes Will fishing, which Will absolutely hates. He pokes for information about Ronnie, but he can't really tell him anything because his dad won't approve of her because her dad's in jail. He almost catches a fish, but one of the lures comes off when it escapes. His dad left the spares in the car, so he goes to get them, leaving Will alone for a moment. A fish swims up to Will, and when he looks, a hand grabs him and pulls him under. It's his father's corpse, telling him he'll burn too. His dad hears the commotion and runs to pull his son out of the water. Will tries to tell his dad that something seriously messed up is going on in this town. As he explains, a red balloon floats over the river. The major sees it too. Charlotte visits the police chief to report what happened at the graveyard. She wants to know what they're doing to catch this kid grabber, and if the grabber is still out there, that means an innocent man might be in jail. He doesn't believe her. She asks if Hank has had the chance to speak with an attorney. He says, of course. Then she asks if she may speak to Hank, but the chief tells her no. She excuses herself and leaves his office, but the chief won't forget this. Outside, she looks up Hank's family in the phone book, calls them, and gets herself invited over. She offers her help to Hank's mother. She's not a lawyer, but she helped a lot of people in the South while she was with the movement. But the grandmother is angry at her son for sneaking out that night. She doesn't know where he went, but she does know he sure as hell didn't hurt any kids. Halloran and his buddies are hard at work cleaning out their hangout. When Halloran takes out the trash and loads up the car, a loud noise hits him and visions burn into his mind. He sees his grandma in the woods, warning him to watch himself. That's when the major arrives. Halloran thanks him for the meal. The major wants to know when they're going out again, but Halloran says that's above his pay grade and he shouldn't be so eager to continue the search. Hanlon demands to know why, and when Halloran doesn't answer, he grabs him by the arm and tells him what happened at the fishing trip with his son. He wants to know what the hell they're looking for, but Halloran doesn't know and isn't sure he wants to know. He does what he's told, and that's the end of it. Will tells the guys about what happened at the lake, that it was a nightmare he had as a kid, but Will doesn't think it wants to kill them. Not yet, at least. He thinks it wants to scare them first. When you're scared, your body produces fear hormones. Some creatures like the smell and taste of that, and that's why they terrify their prey before eating them. Will believes that's what it's doing to them. They're just not seasoned well enough yet. Lily might know how to stop them from being scared. She leads them to her locker at school and pulls out a few pills she swiped from her mom's cabinet. Her mom takes them when she's nervous, so they decide that the next time something weird starts happening, they'll take them. Later, during chemistry class, Lily is watching the video when Patty looks at Marge to signal her. Marge taps Lily's shoulder and asks if she wants to have lunch together. When Lily agrees, Patty looks pleased. Charlotte goes back to the police station with a signed permission slip from the grandmother saying she's allowed to visit Hank in In prison, the desk officer isn't very helpful, so she gives him a little incentive. If he doesn't let her see Hank, she'll call every news outlet and freedom-fighting organization nearby. They'll be there by morning to protest until the case is settled. This makes the officer a lot more cooperative. In the interrogation room, she promises Hank she can get him home. She can at least get him out to await trial, instead of sitting between hardened criminals. But eventually, he'll have to come clean about where he was that night. He tells her he didn't kill those kids. She tells him that doesn't matter. He already lied, so now he needs to be truthful about his whereabouts. She convinces him to tell her. He trusts her, so he admits he was with a woman that night, a white woman. If they find that out, they won't send him to jail. They'll just shoot him in the street. So he needs a different way out than the truth. The colonel reports to the general that every location Rose gave them came up empty. The general says he already knew that. They're smart. Then he notices a folder that wasn't there before. It contains pictures of the native kids. The general suggests they should grab their leader and invite him in for a little chat. During lunch, Marge tries to make conversation with Lily, but she's awkward. She asks if they can start over as friends. One of the popular guys walks over and says hi to them. Marge tells Lily she should go talk to him. When Lily looks over, he waves. Lily says she should freshen up first, and guilt washes over Marge just as Patty arrives to check whether everything is going according to plan. Tim, the guy, is going to embarrass Lily in front of the whole school, and it's Marge's job to make sure Lily doesn't chicken out. Lily sits on the toilet, excited that Tim might like her. Marge is standing outside the toilet and is crying from guilt. She wants to tell Lily the truth. Then her eye starts hurting. Suddenly, her eyes are bleeding and bulge out of their sockets. When she hears Marge's screams, Lily tries to take her pill, but accidentally drops it into the toilet. Marge runs through the hallway into the crafts classroom. Lily sticks her hand into the toilet to fish the pill out, and then follows Marge. Marge grabs one of the tools and stabs her extended eye. Then she fires up the saw and cuts them off. Lily rushes into the room and pulls her away from the blade before she can cause more damage. Lily tries to disarm her and hold her down when all the other kids come rushing in. They find Lily sitting on top of Marge with a craft tool in her hand, while Marge's eye is gouged from its socket. The major gets home and asks his wife what she was doing at the police station. One of his men saw her, so there's no point denying it. He tries to convince her to stop stirring the pot, but that would mean giving up what she believes in. She's clearly going to ignore his command. That night, Will is in bed when he has a flashback of the fishing trip. He gets up and looks through his telescope, but instead of the stars, he looks at the neighbor's house. A man is walking his dog when he suddenly notices the clown standing by a tree. Will screams. His dad runs in and finds him terrified in the corner. He tells his dad he saw someone outside. When his mother asks what's going on, Hanlon says, "See what you did? They're already watching the house." He goes outside, shouting into the street, but no one is there. As he walks back to the house, he hears something rustle in the tree and finds a red balloon. The next morning, he storms into the general's office. The general already knows something is happening, so he takes the major to an interrogation room where they're holding the young native boy, Daniel. Halloran walks into the room. He's there to get answers about what they're really searching for. Halloran tells Daniel that if he won't talk, things will get unpleasant. Daniel refuses, so Halloran forces his way into the young man's mind. Daniel tries to resist, but Halloran is stronger. He's now inside, seeing the rooms of Daniel's memory. One room calls out to him. It's a memory from when Daniel was young, playing in his room. His Aunt Rose walks in to check on him. She asks if he knows the story of the monster in the western woods. He says, of course. She tells him some stories are meant to teach lessons and others are real. This particular story is real. She asks him to retell it. He explains that millions of years ago, before the first people, an evil spirit fell from the night sky inside its star prison and crashed into the earth. When the star struck the ground, it broke open and released the spirit. It roamed the woods for many snows until the creation of their first ancestors. The star that carried the monster had been its cage and held great power. Their wisest cut a piece from the star and forged it into a weapon to protect the tribe from the monster, the Galoo. They kept the dagger close and stayed away from the western wood. As the years went by, the legend of the Galoo was passed down through generations, and they learned to live in balance with it by staying outside its reach until the settlers arrived. They warned the settlers about the western woods, but they ignored them and hunted on the Galoo's land, which meant the monster hunted them. Feeding on them made it stronger. Eventually, the Galoo would be able to hunt outside the woods. The tribe believed it was too late and wanted to leave, but one brave young tribe member thought something could still be done. She and a few friends took the dagger and traveled deep into the Galoo's territory to seek the cave where it crashed and retrieve more of the star. When the tribe realized their young ones were gone, they followed to try to save them. But without the dagger, the Galoo appeared to them in the forms they feared most, slaughtering slaughtering them one by one. Only the chief remained, unafraid even when confronted by the beast. She couldn't overpower it. Her fate rested in the hands of the young warrior. The girl heard the chief's screams and ran to her, but she was too late. The Galoo had killed the chief. Though the brave young girl was overcome by grief, her people were still in danger. So she ventured into the western woods one last time, made her way to the spirit's cave, and broke off more shards of the ancient star. Then a plan was formed not to kill it, but to cage it. They would use the shards from its old bindings and bury them at 13 locations around the woods to create an invisible border the Galoo could not cross. Their people made a secret promise to guard these 13 locations, so the monster would never escape again. Rose congratulates Taniel for remembering the story, but then one of her eyes falls shut. Behind her, Halloran starts clapping and tells Taniel it's a great story, so now he just needs to know the location of the 13 shards. Taniel stands up and leads Halloran out of his memory to an old abandoned house. He tells him to follow the tunnels through the old well, and he'll find the pillars that bind the Galoo. And that's a wrap. Hope you liked episode 4. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video of episode 5.